Hello, my name is Fernanda Albano. I'm the Trade Commissioner covering education based out of São Paulo, Brazil. First of all, I'd like to thank you for watching this presentation. I hope it will help you seek new opportunities in Brazil. I'd like to start by highlighting the importance of the Brazilian education market for Canada. As you may be aware, Canada's 5-year international education strategy was launched in 2019 and aimed to diversify our education sector, boost Canada's innovation capacity, promote global ties, and foster a vibrant Canadian economy. As part of its diversity goals, the international education strategy is trying to diversify where international students come from and to what type of programs they go. We're also seeking more opportunities for Canadian institutions in the market, which could be anything from partnerships for mobility agreements, research collaboration, capacity building, dual diploma, customized programs, among others. In this regard, Brazil is one of Canada's priority countries where we're looking to recruit more students in order to achieve our student diversification intake goals. Next, I'd like to give you an overview of the local education sector. Brazil has a population of approximately 200 million people, with close to 47 million students in K-12 schools in Brazil. In 2020, more than 8 million Brazilians were enrolled in colleges and university undergrad programs, most of them, 77%, in private institutions, and over 364,000 at the graduate level, most of them in public institutions, around 84% of them. Education in Brazil is offered in both public and private institutions, and quality varies greatly between the two. One of the challenges in Brazil's public education sector is the overall poor quality of the public primary and secondary school systems. Although the vast majority of children and youth enrolled in basic education attend public schools, private high schools and elementary schools offer the best quality education in the country. Public universities, on the other hand, are usually among the best ranked in the country, although some private universities are also very reputable. In Brazil, public universities tend to be more research-oriented than the private ones, with some exceptions. In terms of our international education relations, for Canada, Brazil is the #1 source of Latin American students and our 9th largest source of international students worldwide. In 2022, 10,385 Brazilian study permits became effective, up from 8.5 thousand in 2021 and showing a slight increase from pre-pandemic numbers. Although it's important to note that the actual number of Brazilians studying in Canada was higher, as not all students require study permits, so those numbers that I mentioned are not accounted for in this figure. Canada is also well perceived as a study and research destination in Brazil for all levels of education. Because of this, Canada has been the main destination for Brazilians studying abroad for 21 consecutive years. In fact, approximately 1/5 of all Brazilians that choose to study abroad have chosen Canada in recent years. Canada is not only the #1 destination for Brazilians taking English programs, high schools and higher education programs, but also #2 for French programs. Beyond student exchanges, Canada is also Brazil's 7th most important science and research co-publications partner, and Brazil is 18th for Canada. There were about 6,600 co-authored publications between Canada and Brazil from 2016 to 2018. The predominant sector for collaborative research and co-publications is medicine, with almost 20%. A few years ago, the Brazilian federal government launched Science Without Borders, a federal program that funded scholarships for college and university students in Brazil to study abroad. Canada was one of the top countries to welcome students during this 5-year program, having received more than 7,000 Brazilian students. While the Science Without Borders program is no longer active, it had a great role in increasing awareness of Canadian education in Brazil. A newer program called CAPES-Print has in some ways replaced Science Without Borders and continues to, in its way, increase awareness of Canadian education in Brazil. CAPES-Print helps Brazilian universities grow their international strategies by submitting a long-term plan that is focused on improving the impact of their graduate level programs and increase international visibility. 36 Brazilian universities were selected in 2017 to participate in CAP Sprint. Many smaller higher education institutions in the country that were not actively pursuing internationalization perceived the interest from their students to study abroad due to both these programs, Science Without Borders and CAP Sprint, and started to actively pursue international cooperation agreements. As you may know, the role of the Trade Commissioner Service, also known as the TCS, in the education sector includes helping promote Canadian education and research capabilities, assisting institutions that are interested in recruiting international students, connecting institutions that are interested in international cooperation, such as general MOUs, research partnerships, faculty and student mobility agreements, etc. As we focus more on the commercial side of the sector, the TCS is also helping institutions export their educational services, such as training, capacity building, know-how, and curriculum development. As I've mentioned, Brazil is a priority country for Canada in our current international education strategy. In the recent years, we have been able to help succeed many international education TCS clients in Brazil. And some of these successes include an international research mobility agreement between Canada's MITEX and the Araucaria Foundation, which is a Brazilian research support foundation in the southern state of Paraná. A Canadian university establishing an agreement with a trade union in the state of São Paulo for a customized program for 70 of their members. Connecting an online recruitment platform to local education agents, which started using their program to recruit Brazilian students for Canadian universities and colleges. Partnership between a Canadian English school offering a program focused on health sciences and a med school in Brazil, just to name a few. As you can see, there have been many success stories of the TCS education clients in Brazil, and we continue to see opportunities for you. One of the biggest advantages you have to leverage opportunities is the strong Canadian brand, which gives Brazilian politicians, elite high schools, agents, and top-ranked universities, as well as the public, a positive perception of the country and our schools. Brazilian students see Canada as a high-quality education and research destination with a high quality of life. Also, foreign degrees are well regarded among Brazilian employers and seen as a way to gain a competitive edge in the domestic job market. Brazil's large target population of potential students and pockets within this target population with sufficient ability to pay for studies abroad also create recruitment opportunities. For partnership opportunities, the more prestigious public and private universities tend to favor relationships with partners that offer faculty exchanges and research projects, including publications. In many cases, this also includes dual mobility, as universities are keen to welcome international students and faculty in their campuses. This is in line with the current trend in Brazil amongst higher education institutions to internationalize at home. Institutions are looking to achieve this, in part by offering programs in English to attract international students. They are offering such programs with various duration lengths to accommodate students looking for shorter programs or programs that fit into the Northern Hemisphere's school calendar, which is different from Brazil's. For example, the programs they are offering include short summer programs, customized courses, and research internships. We also see a steady interest in partnerships for dual diploma and joint enrollment programs, academic mobility, and research agreements. Universities in various regions of Brazil are also seeking greater international academic engagement, which is why we would encourage you to consider looking for opportunities outside of the more saturated and well-known regions of Brazil. In terms of forming public partnerships, pre-pandemic, we saw some opportunities for teacher training, which came mostly from the federal institutes, who usually have limited funding and are looking for options that do not involve payment for such trainings. COVID-19 has further reduced government budgets, so while these types of opportunities might exist, they need to be proactively sought. If you're interested in providing training to private companies, I would recommend you contact us so we can work together with our colleagues covering other sectors to find professional training opportunities in their industries. Regarding other possible opportunities you can develop, we also see a greater interest in partnerships that do not necessarily involve mobility. And this can include development or deepening of virtual exchange programs such as COIL, institutional partnerships for joint delivery of online programs, research partnerships, selling of content or curriculum to schools, licensing online learning platforms, etc. Now, some of you may be wondering how Brazil and its international education sector have been recovering from the pandemic. Brazil continues to be an agent-driven market. While there is no consolidated data from the local government of Brazilian study abroad, the local Association of Education Agents, called BELTA, offers great insight into the market through their annual researches. According to BELTA's most recent research, which was launched in May 2023, education is a 3.7 billion Brazilian reais sector in Brazil, which translates into approximately 1 billion Canadian dollars. In 2022, 455,000 Brazilian students pursued some sort of international education, up from 365,000 in 2019. In other words, the sector has rebounded and is thriving. So for Canadian institutions, Brazil offers a number of market entry strategies in the education sector. For institutional partnerships, Canadian institutions also have great visibility at FAUBAI's annual conference. FAUBAI is the Brazilian Association for International Education, similar to what CBIE is in Canada. Its members encompass over 220 Brazilian higher education institutions, including the most prestigious ones. Every year, FAUBAI hosts the largest conference in higher education for international partnerships in Latin America. The focus is on institutional partnerships, especially related to research agreement. Their annual conferences take place in April, and each year it is hosted in a different city. If you're interested in attending the next FAUBAI conference or would like to know more about this event, please reach out to us. Recruitment fairs are also popular in Brazil, and several service providers and agents organize their own events, including some that are level specific, such as for MBAs. These events have emerged from the pandemic as strong as before, given Brazilians tend to appreciate this face-to-face interaction. We should also note that the TCS supports our Canadian clients attending student recruitment fairs across the country. While we may not participate in those fairs, the trade commissioners can help you meet with local contacts, agents, and other key education stakeholders in the margins of those events. So let us know if you're attending events in Brazil. It's important also to keep in mind that local institutions are looking for partnerships that are beneficial for both parties. We see some Canadian institutions wanting to establish a relationship that does not offer the Brazilian institution any benefits, such as English programs for faculty, but no special prices, for instance, that don't do as well. So you should be ready to offer in-kind contributions or discounts on fees to get this relationship started. Relationships that are more robust tend to be more attractive. So try being creative. If you can't offer special costs for teacher training, for instance, perhaps you could include faculty exchange on your agreement, or you could offer research collaboration or other types of activities. Something that you should also think about is that, culturally speaking, to develop a solid relationship with a partner, face-to-face interactions is important, and we would recommend a visit to Brazil if possible. Something else is keep engaging with potential institutional partners. Opportunities in the market exist, but must be proactively sought. Brazilians also use WhatsApp for communication very frequently, so you may expect your local institutional partners to ask for your cell phone number to communicate through this application. To reach your target audience here in Brazil, both students and to do business, communication in Portuguese is also important. It is important that Brazilian students are comfortable in their understanding of the information, so materials need to be in Portuguese. As well, while most business people speak English, having some knowledge of the Portuguese language is well perceived. If you're interested in direct student recruitment, another important thing to note, recruitment-wise, is that the Brazilian market is very agent-driven, with approximately 65% of Brazilians going through an agent to purchase their program to study abroad. Agents in Brazil charge a commission to the education institution, not to the client. Therefore, having a reputable network of agents in Brazil is a good recruitment strategy. It is also good for you to be aware that Brazil is a very price-sensitive market. The culture of installment payments is strong throughout the country and for every sector, so consider flexible payment options to attract students. This is why many students use agents, as they can offer different payment options that are more flexible. Finally, you should be aware that Brazilians are extremely active on social media. 120 million Brazilians are on Instagram, the third largest nationality on this platform. Brazil is also fourth on Facebook and on Twitter. So we recommend that you keep this in mind and be active on social media to raise the profile of your institution. Feature Brazilian alumni as well if you can, to better connect with your audience. In terms of next steps for your international education attraction plans, what we recommend is that you keep engaging with potential students, with your institutional partners, and with the agents that represent you. Canada continues to be the destination of choice to Brazilians, but other large study destinations are also very active in Brazil, so you must keep your institutions on their minds. Digital promotion and creative, innovative models of recruitment are great tactics. Use social media to your favor, use your alumni to promote your institution, and remember that videos get more engagement than simple text. We also recommend that you use your trade commissioner network in Brazil. We're here to support you, provide you with market intelligence, and qualified contacts for the partnerships you're seeking. Last but not least, visit travel.gc.ca for security and country info. Check if you need a visa to visit Brazil and register at ROCA, Registration of Canadians Abroad, when traveling outside of Canada. So thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you all succeed in Brazil.